Well, Adam, what's new, man? Besides cutting weight.
Not much. Just been working, helping people move better, and then yeah, just getting ready for this fight. Been preparing since probably mid-May.
Nice, nice. Um, so like before I even get into your upcoming fight and your training and your whole career, basically, so that like those movements that you do at the gym, like what exactly is that?
So I follow functional patterns methodology.
Okay,
Uh, it's all about correcting biomechanics and the way we move through space. So it's standing, walking, running, and then throwing, the things we do the most every day of our lives. Or things that we may have veered away from due to injuries, or maybe people think they can't do it anymore via running or throwing.
okay.
Uh, yeah, so it's just training that and then making that stronger and then learning how to move your body as a unit in all four dimensions.
Hmm.
It's really, really interesting.
Well, it's what I find really interesting is the fact that I mean I've seen you do the workouts as well, not just train your clients. And I've seen how you've gotten like I remember everybody think like during the quarantine everyone kind of threw on a little bit of weight, but you showed your the difference between during the lockdown and then after when you lost everything.
I was even just a month into lockdown. I
Yeah,
wasn't even like all the way through. I like gained 35 pounds real quick.
really.
Yeah.
Well, you're like
I
the
was like I was 156 before lockdown, and then lockdown hit, and yeah, I just fell off the wagon hard, face first, and gained 30 pounds before I knew it. And
oh
then
gee.
yeah, and then I realized I had to make a change.
Hmm.
So I really committed to everything. I've been following FP now for about 2 years.
Hmm. Okay. Sorry, what were we
Yeah,
talking
it
about?
was just the switch from data to Wi-Fi,
Oh, okay.
maybe.
Um,
Oh,
yeah, I hope so, because let me just see here.
oh, there we go. Now you're moving.
Okay. Yeah, sorry, we were talking about like putting on weight during the quarantine and everything.
Yeah.
Like, and it didn't take you long to get back to where you were at. So I think you were like the least suspecting person that would put on all that weight because you're always in shape. Like no matter whenever I see you, you're always in
At
good.
least I'm in shape. There, when I'm out of camp, I tend to walk around kind of heavy. I just carry it well with shirts and stuff on.
Oh, okay.
But I definitely notice and I feel the difference in training.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, I can see that you're cutting weight right now.
Yeah.
So what weight are you currently at right now?
I woke up this morning like 151, 152 in between
Oh,
there.
okay. And you're fighting at 155, 156,
No, I'm fighting at 145.
145 featherweight. Okay, sorry. You know what? I don't know why I keep thinking that you're fighting at.
Because my pro debut was lightweight.
Okay, that's what it was. Well,
Yeah, my debut for professional fighting was 155.
okay,
But
that's
I
that's
realized that I am not a lightweight because those guys rehydrate way heavier than I could.
right. So, like, what's the what makes you decide to cut at 145 instead of just 150 or 155?
Just how I feel. I feel faster at 145. Majority of my career has been at 145. I've done maybe 4 fights at 155, and I've done 3 or 4 fights at 135.
Oh, okay.
When I very first started, I never want to go that light again because I felt like death.
Yeah, you don't want to do that. So, like 145, you feel great at. Like, how do you?
I feel perfect. I feel like it's a great cut. It's like an easy weight to make. I
Hmm,
don't feel spacey or nothing, and it's easy to rehydrate.
okay. So do you have like Do you have like a typical meal that you like to eat after after the weigh-ins?
Um, I've over the last few fights been trying to stay away from like jumping off the scale and eating like shit.
Right, right.
Yeah. So I tend to keep my diet on point right up until fight time. I just increase volume of what I'm eating.
Okay,
Yeah, I don't actually change too much of what I'm eating because I don't want to throw my body into like whack
okay.
or potentially make myself feel like shit that following day. So I try to learn from past mistakes.
Okay. So
Yeah.
do you like try to go for the whole rice, beef, vegetable thing, or how do you?
Change up my carb. I always change up my protein, and vegetables is always a mix. So
Okay.
I don't really eat like just one vegetable. I always eat a mixture of vegetables. My carbs, I tend to choose between. Well, right now I'm eating like a bean sprout pasta, rice, and then I was doing quinoa for a bit and
Hmm.
stuff like just light carbs, nothing too crazy.
Okay. So who takes care of all your nutrition?
Honestly, just my wife and I.
Okay.
Yeah, she researches a whole bunch of stuff and then gives me ideas, and then well, I more or less decide what I want to consume into my body.
Okay. All right. So I guess kind of just starting at the beginning. I know that you've done boxing in the past, uh, but
That's what I started with.
I'm sorry.
That's what I started with.
Yeah, yeah. Like you started with the whole boxing aspect. So what really got you into MMA? Was it just you started with the boxing and then you transitioned into MMA? How did that all work out?
I just felt like I love boxing,
Hmm.
but I also wanted to be a complete fighter.
Okay.
So as fun as it is punching face, it's also very fun to know every other aspect of how to defend myself or just fight in general.
Hmm. Well, I mean, I know that you train at Armstrong as well, and so what belts are you at the moment?
I'm two stripe blue belt. Before COVID, I was just getting ready to test for my third stripe.
Oh, okay. So how does that how does the testing work?
Well, we just went over to Lovato, so we have skills that we got to learn,
Okay.
and then if we memorize and learn all the skills and show it in our rolling, show it in our testing, and show that we're confident in what we're doing, then he decides whether we're ready to go up or not.
Okay. So there's not, because for myself, like when I did Shotokan karate, I mean, totally different ball game, obviously. But
Yeah.
for us, like I think it was the same kind of aspect where you had to learn all the skills, or you had to learn your kata, all your syllabus, and you had to apply it. Um, but like, is it so? Do you have one grading day, or is it like you just do they watch you throughout? Like, is it like a progression, or how
A
does it?
little bit of a mixture.
Okay.
Yeah, like typically we have a grading day every like three or 6 months, I believe.
Okay.
And then yeah, he decides who's ready to, depending on how many classes you've shown up, how you're doing it in training, that kind of stuff. There's lots of factors, I'm sure. I don't quite know what his grounds are for fully for grading, besides just knowing your stuff
Oh,
and showing it.
okay. And I guess I don't really want to spoil anything for your upcoming fight in terms with your opponent. But is there like do you have like a favorite submission that you like to pull off on people or your like your training partners?
Really, I'm open to everything. For a while there, I was really loving the armbar,
Hmm.
but I've really transitioned to just wherever the game takes me, I'm taking it. So
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. So like, I guess I think probably someone's already asked you this question, but as you previously mentioned, you've had a pro debut. Uh, but what made you decide to go back to amateur?
because I want to go back to pro. I lost my pro debut, unfortunately, via TKO in the first round, just due to unanswered strikes. I wasn't hurt or nothing, but I was stuck. I just got stuck in position, and I wasn't able to, according to them, intelligently defend myself. And what I had shown did not prove to commission that I knew what I was doing to be at a pro level.
Oh,
So
okay.
they sent me to amateur. And now I'm just going to go on a tear, prove that I belong, and then work my way back up the ranks. That's my
Right.
goal.
Okay. Yeah. You know what? That kind of pisses me off that with certain fighters with TKOs, how not necessarily are you not like you're actually hurt by any means, but a lot of times you'll find guys they'll either trap your arm or whatever, and you can't fight back, and they just keep hitting you, and they say you're not intelligently fighting back when really if there's not much you can do and they have you in position. I don't know, like I guess they have their job to do to protect fighters, but that's I don't
Yep.
I wish they could give fighters a little bit more of an opportunity.
Yeah, I wasn't like rocked or hurt or nothing, but I definitely was stuck in position and I was eating unnecessary damage.
Right.
Yeah. He landed a couple elbows that I was not expecting. And then
Yeah.
yeah, that changes the whole game, man. So it was a learning experience for sure. I'm excited to perform again, and I'm excited to work my way back up
Hmm.
and prove that I belong where where I am. So
Right
I've
on.
worked, I've trained way too hard for this sport. I've put too much time in.
Right.
So
Yeah.
not away yet.
Well, so obviously you used to. I mean, this is like years and years ago. Training at Redemption MMA with
Yeah,
Chris Kimmerly, and those are the good old days.
I used to bike from Wallaceburg.
Yes, I was going to ask you about that story. So it is true then.
Yeah, like 2 to 3 times a week, every other week, I'd bike from Wallaceburg to Chatham and back.
So, like you mentioning that, do you feel like that would reflect your hard work then, like your work ethic?
I think so.
I mean, I don't know too many people that would bike all the way from Wallsburg, not just once in a while, but like three times a week, right? So,
Yeah, it was definitely a time where I look back and I'm like, I did that shit, so nothing's stopping me now. Like, there's some stuff I look back in my career and I'm like, I did some crazy shit to make sure I could train.
hmm
But
but I guess I figure like if you want something really bad or if there's something you're really passionate about, you do whatever you can to succeed or continue doing that.
that's always been my thought process and belief. Um, Success happens through hard work. So
Right, right. Now, kind of moving forward here, I would never really ask any fighter, their game plan against their opponent. But with Abdel Rabe, I might say his
yeah,
name wrong. So what is it that you're bringing to the table that he's never seen before?
experience. He only has 2 fights. I almost have 20, so I hope I have a little more experience on the table than him.
I would think so. So, like, what is there something that your team's been training for? Like anything specific that you're training for in this fight?
How do you mean?
Like, is there anything specific that you've looked at? Like, is there anything with your opponent that you've looked at that you can work on in your training? If that makes any sense.
Um, Not really. I'm just, I don't know. I really think this is going to be a good show. It sounds like he likes to strike, and so do I. So we're going to see who hits first.
Alrighty. Well, I don't know. I'm rooting for you, obviously, and I think that like when you go off to fights, and obviously this fight's in Montreal, um,
Yeah, just outside of it. Yeah.
outside. Sorry. So, do you? Is it nice to know that you have the city of Chatham behind you, like having you?
I was blown away at the amount of support I have behind me.
Mhm.
And honestly, it just solidifies what's going to happen Saturday night. So,
Hell yeah, man. um, so like what were your thoughts about Ontario banning amateur MMA again?
it really sucked.
Yeah.
um, I don't know. It really put a grind on everybody, like a halt on everybody's grind for sure. There was a lot of fighters I feel didn't make the jump that could have, and I don't know. I hope they do in the future or in the near future. Um, I don't have any like names to be specific, but in the amateur circuit, there was a lot of good fighters coming up that, unfortunately, because of the ban, like myself and everybody else, had to stop or travel really far to be able to fight and or make the jump to pro, and that was the decisions we all had to make.
Hmm. Well, now with the ban, obviously in Ontario, yourself, you're coming from Ontario all the way to Quebec. Do you know if there's any other fighters on the same card that are coming from Ontario as well?
Yeah, there's a few fighters from London, I believe, that I've saw so far just on social media.
Oh, okay.
Um, Maybe Toronto, Ottawa area. I'm not 100% though. I haven't honestly been paying attention. My mind's only been one track.
Hmm.
Saturday night smash.
Nice, man. So, about the traveling, like when do you leave for Saturday?
So I weigh in hopefully as close to noon as possible.
Hmm.
And then shortly after that, I'm just gonna get my stuff together and then head out. So hopefully afternoon Friday.
Okay. And do you find like the traveling and the weight cut, like the weight cut and the traveling combined, has any effect on you? Does it bother you at all?
Well, I get to refuel before I leave, so
Oh,
I'll be fine.
okay. Sorry. Oh, so you're doing the
Yeah,
weight.
we're doing our. It's like a live video weigh-in for this one,
Oh,
so super convenient.
wow. That I never heard of that before.
Yeah, he showed us an example of how it needs to be done, and I guess that's how we're doing it. So saves me a very famished trip to to Quebec for sure.
That's actually pretty sweet, man.
Yeah, I'm pretty stoked he's doing it that way because it really helps out having to not travel 8 hours on an empty stomach.
Yeah. No, no, I wouldn't want to. Um, obviously, I'm sure that's probably one of the probably one of the rules or things that they have put in place for COVID. Um, but that being said, is there anything else that you have to do? Like, do you have to take the test when you get there, or how does it all work out?
So the COVID test had to be done this week. I actually went this morning to go get it done.
How is that?
It was fine. I barely felt it.
So it's not.
I had it. I had it way worse in my head, dude. It was like everybody I talked to that did it, they were like so dramatic about it. Oh, it's the worst thing ever. You feel it in your throat. Oh, you feel your brain tickled. I was like, oh my goodness. So I went in there with like extreme like
Yeah.
stress, and then they got it done, and I was like, was that seriously it? And he was like, yeah. I was like, that was a fucking joke. But that was a joke.
Yeah.
So no, it's not that bad. I don't think so anyway. Everybody has a different experience. So that was just my experience. I don't think it's that bad. Um, I think people are just being dramatic a little bit.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of people that are, yeah, being dramatic about it. They only have to do the test once and then that's it. But I mean, you look at some of the other fighters and like bigger promotions where they're getting testing, like, I mean, because they're flying out to places, right? I mean, you got guys that are getting tested like 4 or 5 times, and their whole team's getting tested like 4 or 5 times. It's like, Jesus, like, um, so I mean, props to those guys. I mean, getting it done like 4 or 5 times, just constantly getting the blood test and et cetera, et cetera. Yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah, it would be a lot. Yeah,
Uh,
there is a lot of testing on that pro level. Tons of testing. I remember having to go through that. Took me almost like 2 months to get it all done.
oh my gosh.
Yeah.
No, what do they typically test you for? Is it just for like the blood diseases, things like that, or what it?
Literally everything. They make sure you have no disease. They make sure your heart's healthy, your brain's healthy, you have no epilepsy or yeah, everything. Like your whole health card get like card, not your actual health card, but it gets run through pretty with a fine tooth comb.
Right, right. Now, just kind of moving forward here, I know I've asked you a little bit of your upcoming fight and everything, and
Yeah.
touching on your career. So, I guess how do you like? I know that you're a hard worker, and you work at the gym. You're training. You got yourself, you have your family with your wife. So, how do you like balance everything out?
Honestly, I'm still figuring that one out.
Oh,
I'm still trying. That it's a tightrope sometimes,
right.
and sometimes I feel like I neglect certain areas of my life that need more. But I also make up those times at other times in my life. So I try to just balance it out as I go along.
Okay.
If I feel like right now I'm in camp, so my brain and mind and everything has been nothing but training and fighting and combos and everything. So after this camp, I don't plan on fighting again until after my baby daughter is born
Mhm.
in January. So I'm probably looking at a return like mid March. I'm thinking after this. So I'm going to take some time and just focus on family and work. I got some things in the works that I'm working towards. So that's going to be my focus for the next few months, and then I'm going to get back to it.
Oh,
I'm
that's
going to
okay.
yeah, I'm going to stay sharp, stay ready, but it's not going to be like my main focus for a few months anyway.
Okay. Well, it's good to hear it, and everything's healthy with Jess. Like the baby's.
Yeah, everything's good. Everything's golden.
Oh, that's good, man. Um, Now, with that being said, obviously, I've seen pictures, like I've seen videos of with you training with your kids. Obviously, it would appear that they're doing BJJ as well.
Yeah, my two older sons, they do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
Okay. And I've had other fighters on in the past, and they've talked about kids doing BJJ, like Brazilian Jiu Jitsu, and they one guy has talked about how it's actually good for kids to do that because it teaches them discipline, respect, and it's healthy. I mean, it's good for you. I mean, it's tiring. You're sweating, and I mean,
Yeah, no, I agree.
right?
Yeah, they also do karate on the side as well. So they do karate and Brazilian jiu-jitsu. They
Wow.
wanted to learn. They wanted to learn weapons. So
Well, I mean, just let them know. Take it easy on Dad here, eh?
I'm the final boss, bro.
you have to get You just have to get through Dad, and if you can get through Dad, you're the Cobra Kai master then. Chance to check that show out?
I honestly have not had time to really do anything. Any downtime, I'm working towards other stuff that I'm working on. So
Well, that's good. No, I guess I just want to ask you one more question. I know that I know you're busy. I know you have to get to your training soon. So like what's your future plans? Like 5 years ahead, or do you know how long you want to be fighting for? Do you have a certain time frame, or that you're looking
I'm
at?
hoping with FP it'll elongate my career, so we'll see what happens in the next 5 to 10 years. And as long as I can stay healthy, I'm gonna keep fighting. It's part of my blood, so I don't plan on quitting anytime soon.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. Well, Adam, I know that you have to get to your training soon, so I just wanted to thank you for taking some time out of
Yeah, no problem.
hop on the podcast and talk a little bit about it. I know I've been wanting to have you on for such a long time. I've been meaning to have
Oh, it's
you
all
on.
good.
One of those things where it's like I procrastinate, and now I
Yeah, it's all good.
man.
Yeah, we'll have to do it again sometime.
Yeah, absolutely. Maybe when you're not cutting weight and getting ready for a fight. So
Yeah, for sure. We'll have to spend a little more time on it.
absolutely, man. Well,
Cool.
you take care, man, and
Yeah, take care.
with your fight on Saturday.
Yeah, thank you. I plan on not disappointing for sure.
Absolutely, man. I'll cheer you on, dude.
Perfect.
All right, Adam. You take care, man.
You take care. Have a good day.